you're dragging on. You're trying to make it to the end of the shift, and your brain just like kind of goes to this place of, oh, we could be doing something else, something exciting, something we want to do, and then that's where all the ideas come from. But what it is once we get off of work, there's no system or like a little place after work where we can go and put those ideas into into effect. Like after the end of shift, you basically stressing about whatever you got going on outside of the job, bills that you need to pay, what you're gonna make for dinner, just a whole bunch of BS. There's nothing set in place that gives you this system of
what are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me, not for the time that I've spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be a player, I was made to build a game.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dirty Trunk Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome. It is me, your boy Marcus Morton. Always here with me is the Aaron Mack. And we are back on Discord at 4:12 p.m.
I don't know if we should be saying that like we loud and proud of being on Discord. I'm just saying.
It has its ups and downs.
Oh well, what we calling last week? Cause that was straight down. Like it just went straight down. Actually, at the moment, are you hearing me through the right microphone as well? Like I just want to make sure we hit all our checks first before. You know what I'm saying?
Big fact. Yes, you are coming through the right mic. You don't
Right.
sound like you in a amphitheater or
a tuna can.
Tuna can. Yep, there we go.
A tuna can. That's what it sounds like for real. All right. So, all right. So, I want to apologize for anybody who was waiting on last week's episode. It didn't happen. It happened. We got clips from it. But one side just don't hear nothing. So it's just a whole episode of Marcus pretty much being quiet on here with my lips moving.
Okay, I had a couple of good moments in
there. Yeah, you did. I ain't gonna lie. We probably whatever you can salvage from that joint, bro. Go ahead and get it, dog. Like, cause I mean, it's content regardless. So. Ain't no point in being upset about it. It put me in the mood. I ain't gonna lie. It struck your boy the wrong way. I was like, yo, we got to get our shit together, man. But it's just one of those things. It happens. You got to roll with the punches and keep it moving, bro. And it's funny that the conversation that you just brought up, the motivation piece and the discipline, bro. Because like if you think on it, dog, like. Certain situations like that take people out of the game, dog.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, it just be some stuff that come up sometimes where you just be like, yo, I don't even know if we even going in the right direction. Like, should we even be doing this, dog? I don't even know. Like, you just be about to drop everything. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's this a thing or not. Like, are we, like, am I supposed to be doing this? But, like, for real, it's a matter of that strong will that you gotta have as it pertains to finding success, especially when you coming from the bottom, when you ain't got nothing going on, you ain't got no clout, you ain't got nothing behind, you ain't built nothing yet. Like, you gotta have that strong will, because without it, like, you just gonna be quitting everything, bro. So yeah, I'm glad we on here talking about this right here.
That brought me to thing I keep seeing. It was like the difference between a professional and an amateur is an amateur does it, or he does his task or whatever until he gets it right. Professional does it till he can't get it wrong. And that reminds me of basically like how there could be a not really like a good and bad side to success, but it's all a mental thing. Because what's your definition of success? You could do something, you can get it right. You could start this podcast. You could be doing a podcast just like we're doing. Yeah, you have 100 episodes or even 50 episodes, but like what's your main goal? Like, uh, you're doing it, you've got it started, and you could be like, that's a win. And then over time, you're just like half-assing it. You're just like putting out content that's not really, speaking to nobody. Yeah, you're doing a podcast though, but what's your driving factor? Like you're just coming up, getting on here, talking about whatever you're talking about, whatever interests you, but there's no like no oomph behind it. So it's like,
Right.
are you considered an amateur or professional at that time? You know.
Are you, yeah, you just said something like the bad side of success. Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
that? Like, what are we referring to when we talk about the bad side of success? Because I want to argue that not being successful at what you do like is bad in general. But I ain't never heard of nobody being like, all right, so like now I'm successful. Now my life is bad. I don't know. Like, is that a thing? Is that something that happens? Like, you like help me out here.
It depends on the mindset of that person. Like, you can like I said, uh, you can get something started. You could be successful, quote unquote. You can whatever you're trying to do, you achieve that goal. Yeah, you're successful in it. But like, what are you doing afterwards? Are you gonna continue working on it, or are you gonna be like, all right, I got this under my belt. I'm good. I'm ahead of everybody. I wrote this first book. I made this first video game. I made this, and now you're just kind of like riding that. You're a one trick pony,
Okay.
and you're just doing that same trick
All right.
over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. All right. I got you. You fail to evolve with the times and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. Okay. All right. All right. That makes sense. Cause it ain't the first time you just said it, and I was like, even last time when you said it, I can't remember what episode it was, but I wanted to ask what does that even mean? I mean, I guess bad side of success. I kind of thought about the people who win the lottery too. So,
Oh
um, I mean, that's also another thing. So,
yeah.
uh, I guess I kind of answered my own question.
I mean, yeah, that's another side. The airhead mentality. You get the success, you get on this high pedestal, and you just like I said, you ride that wave of, oh, I'm better than everybody, or oh, I'm top dog. I got all this. I got this uh whatever type of title behind my name, and now I don't have to do nothing because I
And
got
then
that
I'm
title,
rocking this vest color.
right? you know. I've been at this job for a certain amount of years, and now I don't. I'm top dog, even though I'm still a.
You got tenure. I got tenure. As if that's important.
Facts.
All right, so bruh, you just read something, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how you wanted to start it out. And I kind of went into it a little bit when we first started. But go ahead and talk about the joint that you found. What made you want to bring this topic to the podcast and why we discussing it today.
So I've been seeing um this thing about discipline a lot. Like it's been coming up on like social media feeds, videos I've been watching. And it's like you need a system in place to basically help you through those times where you're just not feeling it. Like you're dead exhausted, you're dead tired. I think it was a video. It's like, all right, you want to accomplish this goal. All right, do it when you're tired. Do it when you have no energy left. Do it when you don't feel like it. Just do it. Like stop making excuses for yourself. Just do it. because those excuses don't be there. They're there for everyone to pick up on. Excuses is there for, they're like one of those little candy baskets that they set out at, like, little, like the little mints they got at the, restaurants or something. Feel free to take one. Excuses are there just like that. Uh, and you have the option to take it or not. And that's where I came up with this topic today. I was like, so what's the difference between your motivation and your discipline? Like, what are the two difference, or like what makes them different? Do they go hand in hand? Do they work against each other? I was just trying to figure that out. So I found this little passage, um, and I'm going to read it to y'all today. Okay, I didn't want to pull up the screen. All right, so motivation and discipline are two different concepts, but they're often related to each other in the terms of achieving goals and making progress. Motivation is the driving force that inspires you to take action and pursue your goals. It can be intrinsic, meaning it comes from within you, or extrinsic, meaning it comes from an external factor such as rewards or incentives. Motivation is often related to emotions and desires, and it can vary in intensity and duration. Discipline, on the other hand, is the practice of training oneself to follow a set rules or code of conduct and to achieve a certain level of self control. Discipline involves making a commitment to a task or goal and following through with it, even when it is difficult or requires effort. Discipline can be internal, meaning it comes from within an individual, or external, meaning it is imposed by someone or something else. In general, motivation can help you get started on a task or goal, while discipline helps you see it through to completion. Both are important for achieving success, and they often work together to help you stay on track and make progress towards your objective.
I want you to do me a favor and post that on the Facebook join when you get a chance. That thing there. It kind of remind me of like, you know how we talked about it before, but you know how you'll be at work and you talking to somebody and they just like start having all these ideas and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then they for whatever reason these ideas they be so hype about it, but when they go home they don't even think about it. So it brings me to that motivation piece. It's like you only motivated because you don't like what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. And then,
So it kind of took me to that. Go ahead.
yeah, because we people do it a lot, especially at our job, because usually there's a moment. Usually it happens almost every day, for some people, where you're just like, you're there, you're dragging on, you're trying to make it to the end of the shift, and your brain just like kind of goes to this place of, oh, we could be doing something else, something exciting, something we want to do, and then that's where all the ideas come from. But what it is once we get off of work, there's no system uh or like a little place after work where we can go and put those ideas you know uh uh into effect. Like after the end of shift, you basically stressing about whatever you got going on outside of the job, bills that you need to pay, what you're gonna make for dinner, just a whole bunch of BS. There's nothing set in place that gives you this uh this system of security. Like every day your mind is just being racked. Your gears are turning because you have to think of, what am I going to do at this point in time? What I'm going to do at start of shift? What I'm going to do at the mid of shift? What I'm going to do at the end of shift? What I'm going to do at uh after I get off the shift? What I'm going to do at home? Yada yada yada. There's no structure in place that exactly what you're going to do each and every day. Without that structure, you're just a fish in water, just swimming in circles. Just
Yeah. Yeah. But I think like hearing that passage, right, it kind of make a
mhm,
few things make sense. And it's like you know these things like in the back of your mind, but it's like you never had anything just kind of like lay it out like that
mhm,
and just tell you exactly what it is. I'm pretty sure that I might have came from a book or something. I don't know, like just random words from yeah, I don't know. Um, but it just kind of make you think like as it pertains to the whole is this or that thing, like what is considered motivation, what is considered discipline. Like you
mhm,
just said that people don't have that system, but it's like for real, and like this is something that I battle with on a personal level. It's like you know what to do,
mhm.
but you're motivated to keep going, but you don't necessarily have the discipline to follow the systems to get you to the success that you're gonna get to. And I know that's a huge problem with like beginner entrepreneurs that I wanna help resolve, because I know that it's something that I go through personally. You just like got this know-it-all complex, or either that, or you just got too much. Apparently, Alyssa, she really thinks that I have ADD, and that's the reason why I have a hard time staying focused on doing the task that it takes to actually get to get run a business. I guess I don't know.
Mhm.
I stay creative, but I don't have to. I don't have to. I don't keep the structure in mind as it pertains to doing the things that I'm supposed to do, and that's one of the things that we're going to work on in the beginning of the year. But what I wanted to talk about was the fact that like all of this kind of sounds like the why. Like what's your why? Like like even if you break down the discipline part
Mhm.
or the motivation part, all of it kind of brings me back to what's your why.
Okay. Okay. Uh, and I guess the why can be it's it differs from person to person, but
Yeah, of course.
it has to be something serious, or something you just really care about, very deeply. Like a lot of people are just like, well, this is my why, or they say I don't really know what my why is. Your why is going to be something that resonates within you. Like when you talk about it, you're either gonna get like just so hyped up about it, like you just can't stop talking about it, or it's gonna be something like you, your whole just demeanor shifts when you talk about it. Like you could be a happy-go-lucky person, but when you talk about this one subject, it's like you're a totally different person to other people. Like people are like, I didn't know you felt this strongly about this certain subject. Like your why could be, I want to uh make enough money to invest into something to build houses for, the increasing homeless people that are, just popping up every day, or, something that not only changes your life but changes the lives of others. That's what your why is going to be like. Uh and it reminds me of this thing I was thinking of, you know, about when I was younger, we would have this wooden heater, right? And we'll have, dry pieces inside the house so they could, stay dry so we can build a fire so we can, keep the house warm at night. It gets wintertime, it gets about and it's low 20s sometimes it'll get low as 30 degrees or whatever, and it's cold. It doesn't feel well waking up uh to start your day, and you can see your breath as you're breathing in the house, not outside the house but in the house. So yeah, we keep those pieces of wood, right? And the dry pieces is like the motivation, right? So we would load it down, and then because Virginia is Virginia, we get all types of weather throughout the seasons. it can rain during, this winter season, and now we got like icicles on the wood that's outside. And instead of like, just like, oh, we can't use those wet pieces of wood, we'd still bring them in. We would, what I would do is I'd get the heater hot enough to where I can throw in those wet pieces so they could dry out and, be useful. I wouldn't make an excuse for myself saying like, oh, I couldn't use it because it was wet. I mean, we need to make the heat regardless. So wood is wood. It's gonna burn. It's gonna dry out, and then it's gonna burn. So your discipline comes in with the structure. Your discipline would be that those wet pieces of wood. You still want to keep the house warm. You still want to keep the household warm. So that's your why. Pushing you forward to get out there and just make it happen. You know.
Yeah. So in a retrospect of that, right? Like the why is in this point, in this case, the scenario or the wood burning stove or whatever that Mark was just talking about. The why is I don't want to see my breath in the morning when I wake up.
It's not a good
Your
feeling.
that is your why, which is also the motivating factor to stay disciplined. Because if you're not disciplined in that situation, you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be cold.
Not just
I
you, the whole
know.
household.
Yeah, exactly. And like for real, like there's parents who have wood burning stoves who
Hmm.
back in the day when their kids was youngins, they had to get up in the morning to make sure that the wood was in the stove, and that was my why to be disciplined enough to wake up in the middle of the night, because if I don't wake up in the middle of the night, one of my kids could probably die,
Mm.
like freeze to death of hypothermia in they sleep. Like so that is the difference between having that motivation and that drive to do so. So like as it pertains to the why though, like most people would say that their why is their children.
Hmm.
And that's a good factor, right? I've seen people put themselves through hell. Like some people that I know put themselves through hell, like just for the sake of paying for stuff for their kids. Like even now, like there's some people who right now working 60-hour work weeks just so they can afford to buy Christmas presents for their kids on Christmas, right? Um, but like you got other people like the young folks, man, like the people our age, uh, yeah, people in this generation, they like I just want money. Like I want to be successful because I want money. I want more money. I want to get paid more. And I'm like, yo, that's not a determining factor. That you don't. Why would you put yourself in a position where your motivation is something that changes on a daily basis?
Hmm.
Like it don't even make sense. Like
Yeah.
you out here like talking about like yo for real. My car now costs I don't know. Like somebody told me today, like, yo, based off of the amount of miles that I have on my car and the condition that is in, I could probably profit off of it and sell it for more than what I have left on. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But it's because of the chip shortage. And the chip shortage happened because of COVID-19, the
Hmm.
pandemic or whatever. But at some point the chip shortage is going to be over
Right.
and that value is going to change. So like that's the same thing that happens with money every day. Like the things that makes our money valuable changes. It increase, it decrease, it fluctuates. So like you ain't got no control over that. So how could you possibly say that money is your determining factor?
Because sad to say, like that's all people know. Uh, they get that momentary high when they have, X amount of money to spend on frivolous things like uh nothing, literally nothing that's gonna bring them anything in return. Uh, they people like spending money on flashy cars, expensive gifts for themselves that just sit around that have no use.
I've been there, bro. So I understand, dog.
And it's like we'll go above and beyond for, you know, nice rims, nice little sound system, uh, you know, flashy jewelry, the whole grills, chains, and all this other stuff. Now, accessories are somewhat essential to look nice, I guess, but that's all it's there for, to look nice.
Matter of perspective.
Big facts, yeah.
It's a matter of perspective, bro. Because it could look good to you and somebody else don't even like it, bro.
Right.
Don't even matter.
And it's like it, it it gets to the point where it almost becomes an addiction. It basically is an addiction. It's something people can't live without. People have to, you know, get their nails done or get fresh, as they say, each and every week. Like it has to be done. And people make sacrifices, and they asking to, to borrow money to pick up extra time here and there just so
It's
these things can happen.
it's something about that discipline thing, right? You can do it wrong. You can be backwards in your discipline. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't think people really get that because, like, your habits
Mm,
are a muscle. And in order to form habits, you had to do something repeatedly over and over and over again. So if you're doing the wrong things over and over and over again, it becomes a habit. And now you're
uh,
disciplined at getting your nails done. Now you're disciplined at getting your hair done. Now well, I said nails, hair. Now you're disciplined at whenever you get a new car, the first thing you do to it is trick that joint out as soon as you get it,
mm,
and you won't even know how you gonna make the next payment. Now you're disciplined at looking good for your friends. You're disciplined because Mama said never leave the house looking any kind of way. Don't leave the house looking toe up. Now you're
yep.
putting a whole bunch of energy into things that don't matter. You're putting a whole bunch of energy into the appearance, and you're disciplined at making sure that your appearance is good.
Mm,
It's
yep.
still discipline, but the
Yep.
motivation now is the motivation. I don't even know what the motivation is. I can't even tell you. When I was, I think when back when I was a kid, bro. I told the story
Mm,
on the podcast before when I was working at Hardee's, bro. I was making my my first job, bro. I was making, or my first legitimate job. Let me say that because I started working at a car wash. I think I was making more money per nah, that's not true. I was making $10 a day there. My first legitimate job, I was making $5.50 an hour, bro, working at Hardee's flipping burgers. And I remember I was driving my mom's old car. It was a '97 Hyundai Accent, dog. And when I first started driving, when I saved up my money and bought a sound system to put in the back of it. But the next week, bro, I had to call into work because I ain't had no gas to get to work,
mm,
and I couldn't afford gas to actually go to work. My motivation was I'm just trying to look cool for my friends, and the worst part about it, the people who I was motivated to look good for because I was disciplined and trying to look good for people. And
mm,
my motivation was, to be liked by everybody. I wanted to be friendly with everybody. And the people who I was motivated to look good for, I ain't even friends with them now, so it wasn't even real.
yep. Yep. That was the extrinsic, that external motivation that was
Yeah.
imposed by someone or something else, some other external determining factor that basically imposed that type of discipline onto you. You
Yeah.
thought you had to, you know, do this to please another person or please, the people around, the environment around you. It was uh in most cases that's how that type of discipline is imposed on people, is because of the environment around them. They see that, uh Cuzzo or such and such friend. They got this flashy car. They got these nice rims. You hear them come down the road before you see them. It it's almost to the point where it's cultural. Well, I ain't gonna say culture. It's just the environments that we are brought up in. That's what we see 24/7, and that's what we want to replicate 24/7. Uh, and it's so bad because it's a domino effect. It goes through generation to generation. Because I was like that at one point in time. I wanted a fancy little sound system in my junk. Luckily, I caught mine on sale. Some friend was selling hers for like $60, and I was like, oh, that's a steal. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
neither here nor
Yeah.
there.
I got a sound system in my joint too, but it didn't cost me an arm and a leg either. Not like that joint did. Like the joint that I look. And here's the crazy part about it. I make more money now, and I bought a sound system for way cheaper than I did back when I was working at Hardee's, and that joint way sweeter than the joint that I had back then.
Come on.
I went for the most expensive joint back then, and I was making less money, so it really didn't make sense at that point. But do me a favor, bro. I want to stay on that intrinsic versus extrinsic joint, though. I want to stay on that because, as Mark just said, like our our culture, our habitat, our environment, it teaches us it teaches us
Those
how to be
values.
disciplined and values and certain things. But I want you guys to understand that the way you're taught and the way you're brought up, it makes a difference to it makes a difference to the amount of discipline of what you have as you make your decisions in life. So what do I mean by that? It's like if a child grows up in the culture where Air Force Ones and Jordans are the standard, and they get picked on for wearing Walmart shoes, then guess what they're gonna be disciplined in. So it takes something else. It takes some kind of intrinsic value system to be set in place in order for that child to not be upset whenever they go to school in their whatever cheap shoes, and they get picked on, and they could just roll off their back, and they just like, I don't care, that's not really important to me.
Yeah.
Bro, I seen a video of the little 7-year-old boy talking about how he don't find any value in Jordans because XYZ. And he was talking
Wow.
more adult than I was at the time. Dude was 7.
Mm-hmm.
He was 7, bro. He was like, you see this outfit that I got on? Cost my dad $10. My dad gets to save all that money that your dad saved, that your dad spent on Jordans. My dad gets to save all that money investing.
Oh,
Bro, what?
that's
What?
that's a bar.
I'm talking dude flexing his knowledge, bro, and everybody else flexing their drip.
Hmm.
Are you flexing your drip and you about to outgrow it?
Yeah.
And hand it down to somebody else, bro. My dude was flexing his knowledge, dog. And I can't even imagine like having a conversation with that kid's father and that kid's mother, because I'm telling you, the extrinsic value that he is getting from them is making his discipline 10 times better than yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Like whatever they're doing, whatever they're instilling into him is gonna come back to them tenfold. Like that's an amazing value system to have, especially at a young age, because we impose that habitat, because of that habitat, that type of habitat we grew up in. That's almost every kid. Every kid is hyped about, oh, this Christmas
Yeah.
I want this Jordan, I want this
Yeah.
type of clothes, I want this expensive, whatever. But to have an outfit for like 10, I wish my outfit today cost like $10. I would love that. And this is that's amazing. That's amazing that a kid at that young age has that, because
Yeah.
now he can put all his time, his discipline into something he really wants. He doesn't have to worry about the clothes that are on his back, or being the freshest in school. He can focus on some type of art, some type of craft, some type of anything that he wants to do. Like he has that freedom. He's not tied down by looking the flyest, looking the coolest,
Yeah.
getting the freshest drip, as you say. That kid going places. That's all I can say.
There's no way he can't. He
Yeah,
started off
facts.
in an environment that put him in the right path, dog. And that's the difference between like different cultures. Is like the poor people
Mm,
when they kids growing up, like they ain't necessarily having that conversation about money.
yeah,
So it's like you don't have any motivation to go get money when you a kid growing up poor because you poor. You don't know nothing about money. You ain't never seen money. You ain't never been around money. You ain't never been exposed to people with money. So you don't even know that, the discipline to go get money is important. You don't even know. Like it's not even there for you. Like you just like, all right, seeing my environment, everybody out here working like slaves for all their lives. Like, I guess that's all we got. Like, let's just do that then. Like, all right, if I go to school, the school is the only thing talking about success when you growing up poor.
mm,
You ever understand? You ever see that? Like the school is the only thing talking about success, and the success when you go to school, and that's
yeah,
why so many people go to school, but they don't necessarily look outside of doing like entrepreneur work because
mm,
the school ain't talking about it. So you're trying to be successful doing that, and your motivation is to get a degree, but now you broke.
yeah, yeah. That is crazy you mentioned that, because like with me and my friends, like we were the main ones that were talking about, like, being successful outside of school. Like it was never the school distilling something into us. Even the FBLA class, well, no, that was a club, FBLA club that
Yeah,
I was in. Even that, it was like, oh, this is how, like we've said before, this is how you run someone else's business. This is how you establish, like, basically be a manager. It was a whole bunch of like
yeah,
uh managerial simulations, making orders, receiving orders, uh inventory, stock, all that other stuff. It was never, we had one subject or one section where we actually uh kind of like had to make our own business, write up a business plan, what type of materials we need, and all this other stuff. Uh, but we didn't go in depth into it. It wasn't like that was the main focus. That was like the final project piece. This was like just something we touched on and kind of
yeah,
went back to the managerial stuff.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, the school system does a real horrible job. It's like you have to seek that out on your own. Like it's an intrinsic factor that you make for yourself to follow your dreams or your passions, to make your own little career, your own little entrepreneur journey. That's something that happens within instead of something that we see externally.
yeah. And like a good little mix of intrinsic and extrinsic
Hmm.
motivations like is healthy. But you
Oh
gotta
yeah.
have a good mix of that. Like you can't just be all about you.
Hmm.
It's all about you. Like if you all about you, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be motivated to help you out. You're gonna be motivated to do for you, but you're not gonna be disciplined to enough to actually do it because it's just for you. You
Hmm.
can find peace within yourself. Like
Yeah.
you can do that. Like it doesn't matter. Like unless you like really fanatical and you just like completely obsessed with just becoming like the thing that you want to do. Like that.
Hmm.
Like that's the only way that happens. But like for real, like most people when they're just focused on them, they don't have what it takes to be disciplined to keep going.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to a point where, and I told somebody, oh man, I told somebody the other day, right? Because I was having a conversation with my counterpart and one of the people that we training up right now, and he was just like he was talking about something about kids, And my counterpart was like, I got kids, and that's why I go through what I go through, and that's why I do this. And I was like, bruh, I wake up at 3:30 every morning because of my kids, and I ain't even got none yet. So like for real, what do like I do like just me personally, like I can't speak for nobody else. Like at this point, I can't even speak for my life partner at this point. But I do what I do for the next generation. Like everything that I do is to make sure that the next generation ain't born in the same situation that I was born in. Cause I swear to God, I cannot have children, and I want to reproduce. Like that's a motivating factor of mine. It's like I want to reproduce. I want to have kids of my own. I want to leave a legacy and leave a mark on society in the form of the next generation of the McMullen family. Like I want to do that. Like that's my goal. But the thing that keeps me motivated and the thing that keeps me driven to do the things that I do is to make sure that when they are here and they have to take their shot at life, that their shot at life didn't look like mine. Like even if I don't succeed at what I do, I need to make sure that they're put in a position to succeed on a better level than I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to raise the bar, and I had to set the standard because what I know for a fact is that my parents, when they were coming up, they weren't looking at the right things as motivating factors. They weren't driven to do the things that they were supposed to do. Like I don't know about y'all. All I know is that if you focus your entire life and you're motivated through your entire life and you're thinking about not leaving debt to your kids, I can't imagine you having that thought process and end up leaving debt to your kids. Like I don't see it. It don't make sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I don't really know how to speak on it. It's like you want to like you said about the kids. You want them to have access to everything. You don't want no excuses coming from you to be imposed to them. Like, we grew up kind of like with basically with one arm tied behind our back, or we're playing on half court, and we want our kids, our legacy, to have access to the entire court, the entire field, so they can do anything they can imagine.
Yeah,
And we want them to have free reign of that. Like
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to go out here and basically like pigeonhole them, you know, and they can't even, you know, imagine a dream other than what you have them looking at, or like what picture you've painted for them. We want them to paint their own picture, but you have this because of the lack of motivation and the lack of discipline. You've painted this picture for them. You've given them this bad handoff, and now they have to, along with following their dreams, they have to fix what they've been handed so they can make it useful to go towards their goals. They're having I don't know what the opposite of a head start is. They're having a disadvantage at a chance at life, while you
yeah,
could be
yeah.
giving them the most biggest advantage.
Hey,
Just like the kid we were talking about, that he's flexing that his outfit was $10. Now his father, his family, his parents get to save and invest and multiply. That's a big advantage already that he's getting. But like with the person that has that lack of motivation, that lack of discipline, they're doing the complete opposite, putting their child at a disadvantage. Now they have to uncondition themselves from that mindset
oh, yep. There it is. There it is.
of
Right
wanting the
there.
flashy things and wanting the expensive gifts or whatever. They have to uncondition themselves from that. And then not only that, but the uncondition of how they treat others, because times get tough. times get tough, and if you're all about money in a tight time, oh, you lashing out at everybody. You ain't making enough. You ain't getting enough money to please yourself or your family. Now you just mad. You just mad at everybody. And instead of having that discipline of, all right, times are tough. Let's save. Let's cut back here and there, and and tackle this as a family, as a a solid forefront. You ain't doing nothing. You all discombobulated. Everybody's going in different directions. Now your child has to find his own system, because you couldn't show him a system of this structured togetherness. Now they got to figure that out on their own, and it's just you setting them up for failure. You're setting them up for this big disadvantage in a world of just like they could be so successful just by the simple habits you distill into them.
Like
Good habits, simple good
we
habits.
can't. Right. And we're not gonna stay on the kid thing, because like it's not everybody's desire to have kids. Like I ain't like
That's true.
I've met people who don't want kids, but like for those of y'all who do want kids, or even if you have kids already, because it's like some of y'all who got kids, and for whatever reason you're not even their disadvantage don't even phase you. Like you got them like sharing clothes and stuff, and they gotta eat oodles and noodles every night. It can't be exposed to nothing, and you just good with that. Like I don't know what that is, but I like Mark said something earlier, and it reminded me of a relay race. Like the relay race when you like you gotta run and you gotta pass the baton, right? And like for real, legacies are like relay races. It's like you got your first generation, and like whatever generation you in right now, you already running. I'm second generation right now. My name, I'm second of my name. I'm like, like the old shows, they say, King such and such first of his name, whatever. I'm second of my name, right? And the problem is that the first of my name, he didn't really he served in the army, and that's about it. Like that's all I know. There was no success outside of that. He died broke. So in a relay race, it's standard for you to have to run backwards to grab the baton from the person who's slowing down before they get to you. It's standard. By default, you're going to do that. You're going to have to run backwards in order to grab the baton, and you can't run forward until you get that baton. So that's normal. Like we ain't even going to talk about that not happening, because it's not often that you had to have made it. You had to be at your destination. We talk about, the road less traveled, and, the vehicles or whatever. Like, you're like, in order for somebody to like, pick up the baton from where you at and just get it, they gone. Like you had to already be at your destination. You had to have already had made it, have everything figured out. You got connections. Like that's the level that you at. If the next generation don't have to run back and grab the baton from you, but by default, the next generation is going to have to run back and get the baton. So with that being said, is that your motivation should be to fix your discipline. We're going back to the discipline. Your motivation should be to be disciplined enough to do the things that you need to do to make sure you're close. You're as close, because you already at your starting line. So what I want to say is, it's not fair for you to already be in the middle of your race and not trying to get to their starting line. So it's not fair that you lollygag and you running and you just strolling on through. You taking your sweet old time. You like driving Miss Daisy. You stopping and talking to your friends. You smoking and drinking everything. You partying every night, and you like camping out right there on the joint. Like you ain't even trying to run. So it's not fair that you don't have to get to their like, and it's not even a thing like you don't even have to get to their point, because they got to live their lives regardless. They got to start running regardless of whether you closer to the joint or far away from the joint. They got to start running regardless. So it is not fair for you to not reach their starting point and make sure that they go and have a good run,
Listen.
because they got to run to their net to their kids starting point too.
Yep.
So if you want kids, if that's the thing that you want, like or even if you have kids already, that should be your motivation right there. Like unless you, like if your goal isn't to meet them at their starting point, bro, just go ahead and put them up for adoption.
Mm.
Like I'm just being real. And I hate to say that, but for real, like that's if I feel this way about kids that I don't have already, how is it that people who have kids are not trying to do everything that they want, that they can do to make sure that their kids move forward in life?
Yep. Yep. And that that adoption piece that you just said is serious, and people take that even for granted. Like if you're out here and like you're struggling, it's one thing to struggle, and you're struggling because you want the best things for your child, and it's another thing to be out here struggling and then you blame everything on your child. If that's the case, then yeah, like Max said, put them up for adoption, because that's nothing. That is gonna breed nothing but trauma for that child. Uh, in life, he ain't gonna be able to trust no one, because the people he's supposed to be trusting the most, or they're supposed to be trusting the most, let them down. They see them as this big burden, this big uh failure in their lives. And how you expect a child to go through life and succeed when they think that their birth, they're being brought here against their will, uh is this negative factor in someone that they're supposed to love regardless. They're supposed to love this person regardless, and they're them just existing and is this big negative factor in their loved one's life. Like
Uh,
how is that supposed to set that kid up for success?
I didn't follow my dreams because I got pregnant with your ass.
Big fact.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So and for those who don't have kids, bruh, like your or who don't want kids too, like we got to talk about that too, because like Marcus said, everybody's motivation is different.
Mm-hmm.
So like whatever your why is, it got to be deeper than you. Whether you want to change the world, like when I met Alyssa, her why was she wanted to make sure that companies treated employees better. Like she said she wanted to do some stuff to make sure that employees were treated good at their jobs, because she got tired of seeing some of the things that's happening today with corporate America, and how they willing to sacrifice everything to get what they want, and
Mm-hmm.
the person on the bottom, they get chump change and get forgotten about, and they get to mess up their lives for just pennies on a dollar, for real. Like, so her, and mind you, she didn't want kids when we first met. So like she had no plans on having kids, but still her why was big enough to impact the entire world. So
Mm-hmm.
like it just goes to show that you can have a why that's outside of you,
Yeah. Yeah.
outside of you and your family.
It might not always just be kids. It could be, I mean, there's someone, something, a group of someones or group of some things that you love out there dearly, that you would be willing to, you know, basically go through hell just to, see happy, or just to do something better, to change something in the world. You people have hearts, even people that seem heartless, they love something. People love something. There's something to love out here that people, you know sacrifice countless of things for. So I mean, it's there, the why is there. It's just, how much are you willing to sacrifice for it? How much are you ready to sacrifice for it? uh that that why is something to That's something, wanting to make sure not just you, but like a whole group of people. Like that's everybody. Corporate America is a good, well, the bottom of corporate America is a good chunk of people. That's like what, 80% of the world, maybe 90.
Corporate America won't be 80% of the world, but yeah, 80% of Americans, yeah, 80% of Americans are blue
Bottom
collar.
tier. Yeah, bottom
Yeah,
tier.
yeah, middle class. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, a why like that is it'll light a fire under your butt. Uh, because I've seen, you've seen, we've all seen, people like Alyssa just like, you know, break their backs,
Get dogged out.
yeah, just because they want the company, or they just want to see, something get better and whatever they're, working towards. Like it's almost like, it's just the smallest change in the right direction would be considered a win to them, because it's, I ain't gonna say the goal is so big that it's unreachable, but it's just like it, it's so big that it's hard not to fail. Like the only reason you fail at something that big is like if you just stop working at it. Like everything counts towards it. Just working as hard as you can towards that goal, something is bound to happen. It's kind of like the saying, you aim for the moon, and if you miss, you land upon the stars. It's
Reverse
attainable.
that. Reverse
Where's
that.
that? Shoot for the
Yeah,
stars,
yeah. There you go.
and if you miss, you hit the moon.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. The moon closer, bro.
but it's a bigger target, ain't it? I think. I don't know.
It's bigger because it's closer.
It's true. True. All right. All right.
The moon
It's
still
true.
covered the sun in the sky.
Ooh, true. 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 You're right. You're right. But yeah, like finding that why. It could be internal. I mean, it's a mixture of internal and external, and it's just your why is something that moves you on a whole nother level that nothing else can't even get close to. Uh, so
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah,
coming up on that hour mark, sir.
yeah. I know. I know. All right, man. That's the end of the year, bro. Today's
Ooh,
date as we
yes.
recording this is December 21st, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And this year flew by like nobody's business. Like I don't even remember most of it. And Alyssa hurt my feelings the other day, man. She reminded me that we didn't do any conventions this year, man. And I feel a little weird about that.
Y'all didn't?
Nah, we did the
I thought y'all did at least once. I mean, once. I did at least one.
did all right. So GalaxyCon, was that this year? Richmond joint.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, but I know we did the Black Ink Con, which was a flop. That was horrible. Hey, that didn't work out at all. Um, not one sale. Yeah, that one hurt a little bit. But yeah, man, this year went by pretty fast, man, and I missed it. What we got coming up, man? What you got going on, bro?
Uh, so I've been deep diving with this little chat box. It can do a little bit uh do a little bit of everything. Not everything, it can't, make $1 million or nothing like that, but it's gonna make the coding aspect of, video games a lot easier. Hey, I just got a code I printed out, well, not printed out, but something I made recently, that I need to run in Blender to see if it actually works properly. Uh, but yeah, this is definitely gonna this little chat box that is a free source, by the way. Anybody can use it. It's definitely gonna put things into high gear. Like it's damn near crazy how when I started this journey, I'm just like, things are just being like just thrown, like tools are just being like just laid. It's like, oh, you want to do this? Here's a tool. Here's a tool. Here's a tool. And I'm just like, yep, I'm gonna take that. Take this. It's
Yeah.
unimaginable. It's just like when you go for something, it's like doors just magically open, and it's like they've just been waiting for you to get off your ass and just start doing it. To you know,
A lot of things happen when you start walking in your purpose, man.
big facts, big facts. But
Yeah, man.
What about you? Any books released in?
So
What we got?
I got the Arcane and Prophecy coming out on January 17th. And I know I did a cover, and I showed you the cover. But when I thought about that particular piece being a cover, I ain't like it.
Okay.
So I started over from scratch. And I think today I just finished a piece that I think is gonna be the official cover for the Arcane and Prophecy.
Okay.
Yeah. Should I show it? Is the question that I want to ask.
Show it right now. Well, I mean, since you got the other podcast started up and going now, y'all, this gonna be what episode 7? 10.
Yep, episode 10 comes out tomorrow.
Jesus.
Tomorrow, not there tomorrow.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think you should show it on. I mean, you can show it on here if you want to, if you already got it pulled up. But
I'm gonna get your opinion on that when we done. But that you make a good point, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
all right.
But yeah.
Well, ladies, this is gonna be aired before Christmas. Are we gonna do one on Christmas? Are we gonna have it?
Nah, this ain't gonna be aired before Christmas.
It's gonna be aired after Christmas.
Yeah, because the day the 21st, bro. Christmas on Sunday.
Good God, jeez, time is flying. Yeah. All right. So, we hope. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys had an awesome Christmas. Let's get ready for the next year, y'all, and work at it. This has been the Dirty Truck Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome.
Oh shit!
It's me, your boy Marcus Morton. Always here with me is the Aaron Mack, and always remember, those who shy away from addressing the elephant in the room are doomed to be crushed by the weight of it. We love y'all.
Peace, love y'all. See y'all next week.
Next year.